Hey, this is Clint from CT Mad Mods, and today it's raining, but we're going to be inside building a 1.6 liter 16 valve for the Suzuki Samurai. All I'm doing is gaskets. I'm pulling that sucker apart and putting gaskets in it. I've actually been chipping away at it all week, so. As you can see, I've done quite a bit of cleaning already, and I already did a few of the gaskets, but I figured I would bring you guys along to hit up a couple of the others. This thing was super dirty. Pretty much every gasket on it was leaking pretty good, so I just went ahead and whenever I had time at work, I would jam back here and do a little bit at a time. That valve cover, you couldn't even tell what color it was. It was so gross. And then the whole side of this motor was just oil. So it's a lot cleaner now. While I was in there, I went ahead and pulled the oil pump and the water pump and the timing belt and all that. And I changed the water pump, put a new one on it. I got a new timing belt. And actually, the oil pump was missing some bolts, and some bolts were broken off. I found a bolt that was broken off that the previous owner had filled with RTV. And so I was cleaning the RTV out of the hole, and I noticed that the bolt maybe moved. Anyways, I took a pair of Nipex needle nose pliers and I reached in there and grabbed the nub, and it started moving, and I unscrewed it, got it out. That normally never happens for me, but it did. And I was all like, thank you, Jesus. Anyways, I just got back from the parts house and I got a new bolt. We're about to put that on. And we're just gonna keep plugging away at this thing. I didn't clean on this hose. You could see how dirty this motor was. So pretty much everything was leaking. But it's got all new gaskets now. This engine came out of a automatic vehicle. So I'm gonna have to take that flex plate off. And I got a brand new clutch for it. This clutch is small. Look how small that clutch is. It's like a clutch, only smaller. Also got a full gasket set. And I got that gasket set from SuzukiPartsUSA.com. First things first, I'm gonna clean up this oil pan with a little bit of gas, a brush and a scraper. I'm double gloved because I hate the smell of gas. We can get this thing cleaned up. Just like you're painting a beautiful masterpiece. Picasso. Missing a little bit of paint, so I might have to paint this one. You know how we do it. Got that sucker cleaned up. Sprayed it down with brake parts cleaner. About to give her the old treatment with the Duplicolor acrylic enamel. It's got a vehicle on it. It's good enough for me. I know this ain't barbecue pit engine paint, but it's gonna look a lot better than it did, and I don't even really care if it falls off. That ain't this kind of channel. If you want to see somebody powder coating something, go look at Austin Nimala's channel and see all the powder coats you want. I just give her the old 1-2 from a can of spray paint. Like Ice Cube said, shake it up, shake it up, shake it up, shake it. I'll be honest, I didn't even sand it first. We're gonna let that dry, and then we'll come back and hit her again. I'm doing my timing belt. So I have the crank on top dead center with that little mark right there. I got a mark and a mark. And then you have like a little E mark on this one, and I got that marked and it goes there. I have my little tensioner all set up, ready to go. I have my distributor cap on the number 4 cylinder. It's on top dead center. I just checked. So I'm about to throw my timing belt on, And then I'll turn it over a couple of times and then set the tension. And then timing will be done. But first, another coat of paint on the oil pan. Give her the old Cajun overhaul. Man, I don't care who you are, that looks good. Just added 10 horsepower. Yeah, that one's gonna seal up good, it's gonna look good. I don't even know if I had to change all them gaskets. That oil pan looks so good. Let that sucker dry and we're gonna bolt that sucker up. Yeah, sorry I didn't get all this on video, but you can see it was mighty dirty. It was nasty. Hands were just filthy. So let me get that timing set and then we'll throw this cover back on. The way you do the tension on that timing belt is you just put your belt on and then you turn that bolt 2 times and it'll set the tension, and then you tighten the that little 10mm guy and that little 12mm guy and just do them like hand tight. You don't want to break them or anything. And that'll set your tension for, they just need to be like, you know, finger tight whenever you do it. And that spring right there will set your tension for your timing belt. And it shouldn't be super tight, but shouldn't be loose either. So that's how you do the timing on one of these. Now I'm gonna tighten everything up and then we're gonna put the cover on. Just wanted to show you real quick, now that I've tightened all this up, I got that mark back on top dead center. I got that mark back on top dead center. My number 4 piston is at top dead center, and my distributor cap, I got a little mark right there where number 4 plug wire goes. That's number 4. I marked them all before I took them off, and the rotor is actually on top dead center. So we should be timed when we go back in. All right, this is actually the next day. When I was editing video, I noticed that my timing was off like by 1 tooth. And I don't know, I must have been tired or something, didn't notice that. So I came back over here to confirm it. And I just took my timing belt off, put it back on, and now it's confirmed. And my number 4 plug wire is actually on top dead center. Everything's on top dead center. So we should be good to go. I want to show you something real quick about this gasket set that I got from Suzuki Parts USA. It came with everything and it was $29.99 shipped. It has the intake manifold and exhaust manifold gaskets. It's got all of the main seals. It's got all kinds of valve seals. It's got pretty much everything. Pretty wild. I've changed basically all the external stuff that was leaking. I got a couple of gasket sets, so just wanted to make sure I had enough on hand once I started doing this. But $29.99 shipped is crazy. That's a good deal for me. I'm not doing a head gasket today, but I got one in there. That's what's nuts. Came with a head gasket set. But all right, everything's torqued up. Everything's going back together. I'm gonna seal this sucker up. We're gonna seal the deal. Now these little bolts inside of here are little tiny 8mm head on them, and I've broken them off before. So the absolute last thing you want to do is use this to install them. All right, I made a mark on my pulley so I can time this later if I need to. I tightened those down. I actually used a ratchet. I just sucked them down with the impact, but you just want to get them hand tight. You don't want to break those little suckers off. I've broken them before. Anyways, we're a lot further along. Got my timing belt cover on, got my pulleys on. Like I said, I got a mark on there for if I need to time it later. Got my clutch fan on the water pump, everything turns awesome. Gonna throw some NGK plugs in there, and I think I'm just gonna reuse these wires. They look pretty good for now. You know, if it needs a tune up whenever I get it running, then I'll do that, but ain't no sense in wasting money if I don't have to, right? I think I'm gonna use my Samurai flywheel if it looks like it's in good shape. If not, I'll just buy another one, but I think it's relatively new. I don't necessarily know that, but I'll look at it whenever I get there. Got to get the exhaust off the sidekick. I'm not going to put a header on it right now. If I feel like I need more power, then I'll get a header for it. Going to get me a good Wix XP filter for it and throw some Mobil 1 in it and probably do an oil change after a couple hundred miles or so. The bottom of the pan looked really good. There was no metal shavings in there. The bottom of the engine looks really good. Everything that I can see looks really good. It ran great whenever I pulled it out. So I'm just gonna trust that this is a good motor. And if it ain't, pull a motor. I don't have a problem with that. I'll just throw another one in here. But this is the Shade Tree Mechanic version of an engine swap. Thought I was gonna powder coat or paint this valve cover, but after I cleaned it up, it doesn't look bad. I kind of like the aluminum look. So I'm not gonna worry about that. I painted that oil pan because it was so nasty looking, and I basically just cleaned everything. I need to clean that hose big time. Can't get it off. That's why it's still on there. But all right, I need to clean up this mess so my boss doesn't see it, and then I'm gonna head to the house. That's all I'm doing today. Sucker looks pretty good. It's still really tacky, so I'm gonna let it sit for a few days and just dry really good. And it's so wet out here from raining that it's probably not gonna dry today. But gave it the old Cajun overhaul. Got the Oil Slick Valdez out here. I'm about ready to put this oil pan on, and I don't know if you guys have seen the Highway 87 video on 1.6 liter 16 valves, but Tony talks about having a crack in the number 2 journal, and he discusses this brace right here, keeping that from happening, and it's mostly on the automatic vehicles. So hopefully this one isn't cracked. I'm not going to take it apart to find out. I'm just going to run it, but I thought that was pretty cool. I saw that video and he discusses that bracing. Also, I got help today. And we're just going to paint a happy little gasket here on the oil pan. Nice and smooth, happy little gasket. Isn't that beautiful? Isn't that beautiful, Ronan? It's beautiful. Got that oil pan painted up too. It's about to go on here. Ronan's excited. Got the pan on. Haven't tightened those bolts yet. I'm gonna give it a little while to kind of tack up, and then I'm gonna cinch her down, but man, that pan looks way better than it did. Kind of excited about this. It's coming together. Well, that's pretty much a wrap. Thanks guys for watching my video. Thanks for all the subscriptions and everything. We're over 600 now. Right now I'm cutting lettuce. Pretty soon I'll be making fries, and then I'll move up to the grill, and that's when the big money starts rolling in. Thanks for watching my video, y'all.